Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Just got back from Georgia Bushcraft. A wonderful weekend up there. And Friday I did a discussion on doing it yourself, DIY stuff. And part of it I was talking about a hatchet that I fixed up. And the hatchet that I was talking about is this guy right here. So when I originally got this hatchet, you can see from how bad that it's pitted, it looked nothing like it does right now. It was round on the top, and this edge was rounded and the top was rounded, so it kind of came down and then was rounded again and had like a nail puller, but I can't remember which direction that it came off of the end, if it came off the top or off of the bottom. You can see the head is like flat on one side, and so it was a strange little, maybe like a lading hatchet or a hatchet for cedar shake or something, and it was busted. It had a big crack right here, a big crack in it that I welded up with just some 6010 rod, and I put it on a handle. This is a rigger handle, or rigger's handle, and I made the mask for it. Just a simple Hobby Lobby leather. Goes in there like this and wraps around. And I also acquired some fun leather stamps while I was at Hobby Lobby, and it had like a wolf's print and the little fire, little campfire emblem there. I've gotten on some of this stuff. Here's another one. You see where I got part of the stamp on it. But here's just some other options for the DIY deal. It takes some tools to be able to do this stuff. A grinder, so just like a 4.5 inch grinder with some cutoff wheels and stuff. You can do most of this with. My beards, like these half hatchets here. You see there. This one was like this, and I drew it out. It's like a mattock. I call this one the tiller. It's for, I can dig a little bit with it, but when I beard these things, so when I beard it, I take this part out. I thought I had some down here in the junk section. Yeah, there's some in here. And here's a one that's similar to that first one. So the first one was very similar to one of these. Like this guy. And I just drew on it with a Sharpie and come straight down at an angle there and went straight across the top, and it had a more square head in it, and cut it off and just kind of cut it to shape and put it on the handle and burn it and wrapped it and all that fun stuff. But when I beard these aren't cleaned up. I've just cut them out, but I haven't cleaned it up. I use a Milwaukee, I think it's like called a hole dozer or something. It's a metal cutoff wheel, and I think that's 1.5 inches. But I just start drilling, and I used to have the little cutoffs from it, but I don't know where those are either. But you just start drilling it and go slow and let it, cut it out, and that gives you that real pretty radius in there. But a grinder, a good 1/2 inch drill, and the handles come with the kit to put together, so they have most of the stuff that you need. It may be a rasp. Not that much stuff is really needed for one of these builds. The head and the handle, and then whatever tools you can put this together without being bearded. There's so many options. You just put it together as a half hatchet. But I like to beard mine just to get my hand closer to the middle of that blade. I can carve with it, choke up on it, get real tight on there. But that's done with just a hole saw again. Like this one, same deal. Cut it out with a hole saw, and I can choke up on it and carve with it if I want to. And this is one of my early jute wraps, so it's shiny. I've used a ton of glue on that dude compared to a more recent one that is flat instead of being super shiny like this guy. Same deal with this. I bearded it, and then I put the hammer pole into the forge and then just beat it out in a mattock shape, and then put it on this is a California Framers handle. This is the same handle that is on the tiller. These others, like I said, are just riggers handles, and you can find them. Most hardware stores have them, but this website, SeymourMidwest.com, you can find all of these handles. And I've never got a bad one from those guys. But there's lots of other handle options. I don't know if Whiskey River Trading Company has shorter handles, but they make some good axe handles too. 18 inches is how long this guy is, so it's plenty long enough to put stank on it, to really work it. But it's not that hard to get one of these things the way that you like it. Files, you can sharpen them. Well, you can get them close with a grinder. So just like I have a Makita grinder that I've had for like forever. I've modified it though. At the sawmill we had like 5-inch grinders, and this was a 4.5 inch grinder. So I cut the attachment part off of the 4.5 inch guard, and then welded a 5-inch guard on it. So now I can run 5-inch on my 4.5 inch Makita. But that was just so we could all use the same grinding discs. We didn't have to have some 4.5s and some 5s. We could just use them all. But a grinder, Hobby Lobby is... I've had people say that you can't burn up one of those Hobby Lobby things, which I'm sure you probably can if you really try, but once a month, if you buy a couple tools, it wouldn't take, but in under a year, you could make a whole bunch of these axes. For a couple $100, you could get everything you needed. If you were just going to drop some cheddar on there and get this thing, get it going. The leather, you can buy leather kits, just simple kits off Amazon for $15 that have. Maybe we need to buy one of those, and I'll go over it and talk about the stuff that it comes with. But I may do that. I may order one when we go inside and go over that. But the leather stuff is pretty easy. You can get the leather at Hobby Lobby You can go into Hobby Lobby and get all the punches. You can buy kits there that are ready to put together, already have the holes in them, and you just put it together, and you can either let it naturally patina or you can stain it and get your stain there. Pretty good spot to go to if you're trying to start creating things. And, you know, it takes a bunch of it takes multiple different crafting skill sets to do this kind of stuff, but they're not hard. You know, this can't even really call cleaning up and cutting this stuff metalwork, really. Just get you some safety glasses and some gloves and play with it a little bit, you know, so you don't hurt yourself with a cutoff wheel, because they can be dangerous if you abuse them. The grinder, that stuff's easy. Drilling holes is easy. You just got to try, and that's what I was telling everybody up there. Is I'm fairly mechanically inclined just because of the jobs that I've had through my life, but I'd never worked at an axe factory. I mean, I didn't know how to do this stuff. I just tried it, and it's worked out for me. And I mess stuff up too. Hey, I'm not perfect. I break things and ruin things. Like a good example of ruining things is right here. There's a sharpening stone that I was sharpening awls on at one point, and yeah. So this is just for sharpening awls now. I didn't think it would dig furrows like that in it, but it did. It ruined it. That's kind of the trial and error thing. You can mess stuff up, you know. Just kind of expect that, but don't get discouraged with it. I wouldn't buy you a Black Raven axe head that's $1,000 and then immediately start cutting and grinding on it. Like, I wouldn't do that. A little common sense goes a long way with this, but having a fun custom hatchet is pretty easy. And the axe community is huge, so those people are willing to help you if you have questions. So you could look through and pick these people's brains, and they would be willing to help you because they want people to enjoy it as much as they do. But DIY hatchet stuff, super easy. These wraps are in a different video on my YouTube. You can check that out. It's jute wrap. It's clear Gorilla Glue and just jute twine on these. I don't do nothing fancy when I put them together. I just use a wedge and then the metal wedges when I put them together. And fitting axe head is we'll hang one of these days. It's not that bad. You just take your time with it. But yeah, don't be scared making these little hatchets. I use this one. I got some really nice larger axes. I like a boy's axe style, not very big, maybe 28 inch, probably between 24 and 26 is probably my favorite length. I use a 28 too, but the smaller hatchets for just doing basic craft stuff, or if I go to like SE or Georgia Bushcraft to do something, I'll take one of these guys normally, and it does everything that I want it to do. Great carvers, and it's just fun that I've done it. You know, it's my little creation. Like my bow drill divot, I've used that. I've got a protection rune in there. I don't know if it would help me or not, but I mean, it can't hurt anything, I don't think. But all right, y'all. Look, I appreciate the support. Y'all been killing it on here. Very supportive. Got a lot more stuff coming. If there's things that you guys would like to see, drop it in the comments. I'll do my best to get y'all a video up. Don't be scared to ask. Like and subscribe if you will. Check out my Instagram. It's at Bushcraft Kelso. The website is bushcraftkelso.com. There's just gizmos and gadgets. Again, thanks guys. Have a good rest of your weekend and have a good week. And there'll be something else coming soon. Later.